Well, welcome today to Dr. Kim Live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dr. Kim. I am the founder of Awesome Marriage. I've counseled couples over 35 years, and Nancy and I have been married for 51 years. She would say amazing. I would do probably for sure like that. Today we have a special guest, Lindsay Few. Lindsay's great. She's been with Awesome Marriage a long time now. She's our content editor. She is a podcast producer for Awesome Marriage. And those of you who listen to our podcast know what a great job she does on that. So Lindsay, tell people welcome and tell people just a little bit about you.
Well, hey, good morning. It's fun to be here. I am, like Dr. Kim said, the content editor, podcast producer for the Awesome Marriage podcast. That's really fun. I don't know. You said I've been around a while. I don't even know. I was thinking about that. I cannot remember
when you started. Yeah, you started just editing stuff for me. And then I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not sending out anything that Lindsay doesn't edit because you did a great job in that. So you were doing that before you really came in and started doing all the things that you're doing now with Awesome Marriage.
Yeah. So it's been fun to kind of pick up little pieces along the way.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah, really fun. So I've been married. We'll be married 18 years next month, which sounds crazy to me to say, to Brian. He's a pastor and a church planter of Live Oak Church in Wilmington, North Carolina. We have 4 kids who are elementary, middle, and high school age. So we're all over the place. And we live by the beach. We love being out on the beach, hanging out outside, with friends on the water, just doing all kinds of fun outdoor activities where everyone's energy can just go.
Just go all over the place. So I know Brian surfs. Do any of the kids surf?
Yeah, we have a daughter and then 3 sons. The boys are all surfers to some degree. And then she will, if it's like the perfect day, she'll give it a shot.
She's not hardcore, but she'll get out there if everything looks good.
Yeah, she'll give it a try.
Well, I knew Brian did and loves it.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great hobby for a bunch of boys with tons of energy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking that really when I interviewed you, we were doing that through Zoom, and I remember you had all the kids outside playing, and then all of a sudden behind you, there's this window and all these little faces in it looking in to see what's going on with mom in there.
Oh gosh, I think it was summer like this, so they were all home, or it might have been during we were homeschooling, and I remember saying, "Don't come in the room." So what they did instead was they put their little faces on the window.
Yeah, exactly. It was great. Yeah.
Like, cool guys, thanks.
Cute kids.
They're a lot of fun. Yeah, really fun.
Well, talk about some of the things you have written for Awesome
Marriage. So a couple of things I've written for Awesome Marriage. I've done the 100 questions to get you on the same page. Parenting handbook, 30 gems of wisdom for your marriage, the Proverbs-based kind of devotional for couples, 52 questions for your family dinner table. And then I've also done a couple YouVersion plans, which is probably my favorite thing to write. The Reconnect plan and the 3 questions for wives YouVersion plan.
Yeah, those are awesome. And yeah, we love YouVersion. We're nearing a couple million downloads or completions of all our plans. So it's amazing. God used that in great ways. So if you guys that are listening, if you've used any of these, just put us a comment below and tell us which one. Also, so somebody may, when you say what Brian and you do is church planning, what does that mean? And what does that involve?
Yeah, so church planning it's basically you make a church where there wasn't one before. So you go into a place where you see a need for a church, you feel God's called you to start a new church. And in a lot of places, we're in the Southeast, there's a lot of churches, but if you look at the number of people who attend them, I mean, we're talking less than 10% of the population. So even though there are a lot of churches, we're seeing that God's doing a lot of moving through smaller church plants. We're kind of reaching different personalities, different segments of the population that maybe didn't have a church home before.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. And I think that you're exactly right. I think people, they see, especially where we live in Oklahoma, there's lots and lots of churches. But when you get down to the numbers, there's a lot of people that don't have a church home. And so sometimes that new church or one that has a little different slant or some going to appeal to somebody, and all of a sudden these people that didn't have a church home have a church home, and which we want, because we know we grow and to be around other believers, how important that is. So I love what you guys do there. So how many churches have you all planted?
So we have planted one church. So we planned the church. It's been 9 years ago.
Okay.
And one really fun part about it, though, is when we have people who are in our teams who we get to send somewhere else. And that, like there's missionaries, but then there's also church planners. And first couple we sent out to plant who were ready and God was calling them to plant somewhere else was Christine and Dylan. So they were in our church. And then we knew the whole time they were not there for long because they were going to take off. And that's just so fun to watch because then it's like, we're not doing the work at New City, but we still get to see like, hey, that's like, we were part of this too, because it's not just one place. It's moving, it's going, and there's people all over the place. It's awesome.
Well, and I think one thing that I knew about you and Brian before I ever met you was from Christine and Dylan and how you guys had impacted their life and how you impacted their marriage and the way you guys poured into them. And I think helped equip them to go out and do the work that they're doing right now. So it's pretty awesome.
Well, we always laugh too, because it makes me laugh when you say that, Dr. Kim, because the thing we say, all we knew how to do is just to mess up publicly and then let So whatever we did, it was just, this is really real life. And I'm glad it worked out in the end and impacted them well, because we were just fumbling along and bringing them with us. And that's how it worked out. So.
Yeah, I don't think we learn very well from somebody that's perfect. I think we learn from others' mistakes and those kind of things. And, because we can relate to that because we're all human. We all make mistakes like that.
Yeah.
So what's with you doing Awesome Marriage and the church and kids, what's an average week look like for you guys?
Yeah, there's a lot of action right now. There's a lot of moving around. We've been doing a lot of prep ahead of time, kind of like got a shared note on our phones that we share. Here's who's going where, which days. Here's where I need to drive. Here's where you need to drive. None of our kids are driving yet. Oldest has a job now, so we got to get her there. So we've just got a lot of action, a lot of coordinating. That's kind of like probably the hardest piece of getting ready for the week. So we're in a lot of places, moving people here and there and then getting work done. So it looks busy. I don't know a better way to say it. I don't like the word, but it just is.
And I think it's the season you're in. And you mentioned, how old is your daughter? Is she 15?
She's 16.
She's 16, but she isn't driving yet.
Not driving. COVID pushed her back,
So when she does, I just remember when our oldest started driving, it's like, you get this mixed emotion. Okay, I don't get because I loved driving because you'd hear their conversations and all that stuff. And but then all of a sudden it does take a little bit of the load off, and most of the siblings probably want to ride with her, and so it'll work out good. They'll have an extra driver, which makes a big difference. So you guys have been parents for 16 years. What about new parents that might be listening? What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, well, I think that it's just every season is so short. It's hard. It's hard for me because every season you don't really know how long it's going to last necessarily. You've got different developmental or discipline things happening, and it feels really hard because there's always something new. But I think that probably the best advice I could give would be that every season it's not going to last that long. So you just got to find something to enjoy about it. And hang on, and just kind of keep that focus of like, they're going to keep changing. They're going to keep growing. You're going to have to keep adapting. You're never going to just figure it out. And it's kind of like what you say about marriage, Dr. Kim. There's no like just coasting. There's no do it once and forget it. You got to keep adapting and figuring out your new season, but that's not a bad thing,
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, looking back, raising our kids and now with grandkids, I mean, each season is really special. I know there's hard things, when kids finally the last one gets out of diapers, it's like you want to have a big celebration and everything. But there are funny things that happen during those times too, that you think back of afterwards that may not have been as funny when they were, but all those kind of things happen. Like, if you've got boys, you get every mom and dad get sprayed at one point, changing diapers, and just some of those things that just happen. But every season is good, and I think I would say that too. Just enjoy each season you're in, and knowing if it's a tough season, it's going to be over soon. And they really are. They may seem long when you're in it, but they go pretty quickly.
I know. I can't believe my second is going to high school this year, and it's blowing my mind. The first one went, and I'm like, that's crazy. That just, it seems too soon, you know, but now we got the second one and it's good because you look at them, you're like, it's right for you. It's right for you to grow, to move on and do these things. But man, how did that happen? It happened fast.
I know. My oldest grandson graduated from high school this year, and so I did a video for him, and we started back when he was little, pictures and stuff like that. And just watching that with him and with some other family members, and watching him get teary-eyed, as he's looking through it was just cool. But you don't realize how fast it goes, and you forget some things, and each one of those stages was so special. And but you're right. He's ready to graduate. He's ready to move on to the next part of his life, and he's prepared for it, and so that's what that's what you want, what you pray for. But then when it comes, it's like, oh, it's already over, So enjoy every part of it like that. So you guys have been married 18 years. You said that. What's something that you've learned while you've been at Awesome Marriage that you feel like might have helped you and Brian in your marriage?
Well, I'll just take a minute to plug the podcast because as the producer, I get to listen to every word of every episode at least once. Sometimes more. And I'll just say you guys cover such good content on that. It's really helpful. And I think if, I know a lot of times it's more the wives reaching out and getting this stuff, but man, if you could listen together, people would get a lot out of that. So I think just kind of taking that stance of, I want to learn, like I want to find some resources to help me, has really been helpful. So being proactive in that way, but also we've started marriage counseling in the past couple of years, and that's been helpful. I think that that's something I've kind of gotten the value of that from Awesome Marriage. Just seeing some of your wisdom come out through stuff and thinking, you know what, we could probably use that too. And then another thing is just always looking at what's mine to carry, like what's my part of the problem, what's my responsibility, instead of how can I change you?
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
That's really good. Well, thank you for that. And I think that was my vision for Awesome Marriage from the beginning, that we would really be practical with people. It wasn't going to be all theory and stuff. It was really give you practical things. The resources that you guys produce and all the things that we do like that are geared to help people grow their marriages. And that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's
for sure.
Helpful. Yeah.
What is your favorite part of working for Awesome Marriage?
So like I said, I like to write the YouVersion plans. That's my favorite thing to probably make, just because I love getting the word into people's hands. I don't think there's anything as transformative as getting into scripture. But I love, one of the most fun things we have is we get testimonials from people who will say like, yeah, we were on the rocks and now it's changed. And that's amazing. You can't beat that.
No, it's, I think I'm with you. It's the most encouraging thing is when we really see, oh, wow, this, and sometimes it surprises us, or does me. It's like a video or something we've written that hits people in a way you think, well, I didn't know that was really going to impact somebody. And it does. So it's interesting to see how God leads us and uses those things. Yeah,
for sure. And I think that's too, part of it is like, it's like with anything that you're doing in ministry, which I guess I could speak to with church planting, pastoring, and then overlapping with Awesome Marriage, you can put all the little seeds in the ground and water them. But then it's when the Lord decides he's going to really work in something, you can't stop it. And that's a really fun part.
Absolutely. And you talked about writing. One of your blogs is the one that's featured this week, Summer Fun.
Yep.
And if people want to subscribe to our blog, you can go to the Awesome Marriage website, awesomemarriage.com, and you can click and subscribe. And so anything particular that they'll find in that blog?
Oh, well, I talk about how you don't really have it by accident, or at least in my house, we don't. We're, probably other people are more fun than we are, but we're going to make sure we get everybody fed and clothed, and we're going to get our jobs done. We're not going to forget to get get our work done, but we might forget to have fun along the way.
Yeah.
We might not find time for it. And I think kind of going along with what we talked about a minute ago about the kids and stages, like there's a lot of fun happening with them, but we also want to have fun. We want to have fun in our marriage and not forget to make time for each other. And I think in the past year or so, with COVID and everything getting really difficult, we were just like, we can't just kind of continue without making intentional time for fun. And so that's something that's really close to my heart.
That's
So
good.
about that.
Yeah, I think that's so important because summer is a special time, and you got the four kids. You have one working, so she's probably gone a little bit more than she would be. But then you've got the others, and then I think too what you said about just as couples, just taking time to enjoy. I mean, I can remember growing up, high school and stuff. I mean, summer's a favorite time, and even if you were dating or just being around people and all that kind of stuff, it's just so much fun. So you don't want to miss out on that for sure.
No, yeah.
Do you have a favorite blog that you've written?
There are two that are really special to me. Two of them are one that I wrote about proactivity, and about that one I was inspired because I have living by the beach. I fight every summer battle with like humidity in my hair. And so I noticed I'm always on the lookout for something, to fix my hair better. But I realized, do I like look for ways to improve other things like my marriage? And that was kind of a light bulb for me. So that was a big shift because that shifted a lot of things in our marriage when, for me, when I just started saying, wait, how could I actually make things better? So I wrote about that. And then another one was 10 tips for introverts in ministry, because that I'm a real hardcore introvert. I'm probably the only one in my whole household, which is hard. So
you have to hide.
I have one kid who's a little more introverted, but everyone else is just all the time. And so it's something that was really hard in ministry to feel like I don't think I have the stuff for this job. How can I do this? But then I learned, over the years of trial and error that no, it's okay. Like God did make me the way that He did. And I just have to learn how to kind of work within expectations and planning time and energy. And so I like that one a lot too, because that was special to me.
Yeah, those are both really good. Yeah, and that's one of the things I love now with our ministry, with Awesome Marriage, is you're writing, Christina's writing some, and we're getting some more things besides our other resources. Just you guys' experiences and what you've learned and how you're putting that in ways that to share with other people so that they can learn from what you've learned.
You learn from our mistakes too, not just yours.
And what got, yeah. And hopefully don't make those same mistakes. Or if you did, you feel better about it because somebody, oh yeah, Lindsay did that and she's on Awesome Marriage. So,
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That sounds good. Well, thank you for spending time today doing this. Thank you for all you do for Awesome Marriage. So grateful for Brian that he supports you in that and the ministry you guys have in Wilmington, which is awesome. I don't know if that is it really ministry when you can surf every day. I mean, seriously, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, we're pretty happy about it.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Dr. Tim.
Okay, so thanks for joining us, all of you guys. We will be back next Tuesday again. Lara and I'll be back together, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. Until then, just have a great week.